Welcome back to another video. On today's video, you're going to be seeing me do a complete budget build transformation in 3 months on this 2006 Corvette budget build. Now, you're not only seeing the Corvette transform, you're also going to see me as a person grow through YouTube, okay? So you're going to see my audio get better, my filmmaking get better, and everything else. So I'm excited for you guys to see that. It was definitely cool for me to edit because you definitely see a huge transformation with the car and me. So make sure to watch to the end because it really helps a brother out. And don't forget, like and subscribe, okay? And maybe drop a comment. That also helps a brother out. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy the video and thank you for watching. There's no motor in this C6 Corvette, but brothers and sisters, hear me out. This vehicle has all the harnesses and connectors needed to get this thing running. The only thing it's missing, of course, is a motor. Let's see what this pig is all about. We're gonna start in the front of the car because it's the biggest eyesore. I'm assuming this car was in an accident. You can tell by the way that it is. Mismatched headlights. One's fogged up and then one's clear, and then this red doesn't even match this red, but the red in here you can tell matches this red. So definitely gonna need new headlights. We've got some aftermarket wheels with some brand new skinnies. I don't know much about C6s. I'm completely new to the new car world, you know, new technology. But apparently this car has a Carlisle spindle kit, which allows for bigger brakes and bigger rotors and bigger calipers. So don't take my word on that. I don't know about it. But you can tell back here, this thing also has brand new slicks on it. We're definitely going to be racing with these things because you don't get much better than that. The driver's side of the rig is where all the money is. You know, just don't look there and keep your eyes over here. I mean, this thing looks like a real rig. Jump to the back of the rig, pop the trunk on this hog. There ain't nothing in it. Nothing in there, nothing in here. Maybe it had a fuel cell, but when I do go ahead and put this thing in the body shop, I'm keeping this black rear end. I like that.
What do you mean by that?
It's enough of the outside of the rig. We're gonna go ahead, get these butterfly doors open, check out the inside. Remember fellas, red to black and black to red. Now this door should open. See, now what's pretty sweet and why I am pretty fond about this car is because you go to hit the starter, everything works. We got beepage, stereo works. I'm thinking perhaps we do a C6 budget build, $4,500, find a good LS, 6.0, whatever. Perhaps we could do a budget build for $10,000, including the price of the car. The problem is I'm no expert on Corvettes or LSs in general. I picked up an LS2 6.0 liter LS out of a 2007 Corvette, and we are going to be rebuilding this thing and putting it in my 2006 C6 Corvette. We're going to start by disassembling it, the fuel rails, the accessory drive, the coil packs, the valve covers, the manifolds, the intake manifold, and the heads. A quick look around this motor, as you can tell, full accessory drive, alternator, power steering reservoir, throttle body, you know, water pump, tensioner, idler. The previous owner told me he did rebuild this. We have the flywheel on the back. We have all the sensors are in this motor as far as my knowledge. So to start the disassembly, we're going to start with the accessory drive. Alternator off. Alright, so I got the power steering pump off. It's 3 simple bolts. Slide it up like so. Now for the moment of truth. Alright, so as of now, all this looks extremely good. There isn't any scoring in the cylinder walls. The pistons look good. Not gouged or anything severe. The bottoms of the valves look great. Voila. How's it look? Now we're going to take off the valley cover. Nice. This makes me pretty happy. good. First step on assembling this motor, we are going to be installing the red hot pan. BTR red hot. You see that pepper on it? That means it's going to be hot. It's going to be spicy, choppy, you know? So for the assembly, we just have this Permatex, you know? Now I've actually never done this before. Alright, so I got it all set up. I got the cam gear on along with the cam bolts are on and the timing chain. All this goes on in one assembly. How this works is the timing gear has to be aligned with the dot on the crank, and there's a dot on the timing gear. Rotating assembly is at top dead center, and basically the lines you put the chain on and it all goes on in one shot. Now we're putting another set of lifters in. There's a set of lifters going in. Alright, gaskets going on. Alright, now we got the head going on. Alright, so we got the gasket on. Now we're going to go ahead and lower this head down. Little pause in the video because I had to stop. I was like, why is this head flush with the block? And why is there this space? I got worried here for a second. I was like, no way I could mess this up. And then I looked up images of a long block and I'm right, okay? I think. If I'm not, I don't know. All right, so we're putting the valley cover on. Direction's pretty simple because you got the oil pressure up there. All right, now we're gonna finish assembling the head. We got Brian Tooley valve train components, push rods. There we have it. All right, now it's time to set the intake on here. You just set this thing on. On goes the pump. I'm installing this LS2 6.0 in my 2006 Corvette budget build. Now I got no idea what I'm doing, so this is going to be quite entertaining. So let's jump right into it and start lowering this motor inside this car. Pretty sure this bumper is going to have to come off. Alright, so I have the motor just sitting in here right now. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the hoist. I'm going to have to take this bumper off because I just don't have enough, wiggle room. We should be able to gain about, 4 inches or so, which is a lot, so they say. Bumper should just pop right off now. There we go. Alright, so I'm ankle deep in this thing now and I have no idea what I'm doing. I was reading on the forums that we're going to have to go ahead and drop this cradle here. And to do that, if I read correctly, we have to do these 4 control arm bolts, that lower shock bolt on both sides, and there's cradle nuts around here somewhere that we have to loosen, and we could either fully take the subframe out or we could just lower it, because the biggest problem is the balancer on the motor will not clear the steering rack, which is causing a huge issue. All right, so I think I have all the bolts loose. Just gonna lower it and see what happens. Okay. All right, so it is about a day later. It's actually a full day later. Yesterday, I went through 2 shirts. I had about 3 strokes. I drank about 2 gallons of water, and I was dehydrated and I couldn't think straight. But I don't know what I did. We're gonna figure this out, okay? This car has to roll again. All right, so here's what we got so far. I'm basically going through all of the wiring harness, retaping everything up, making sure all the wires are all sealed and clean. This harness right here, I'm just gonna go through all the wires, all the grounds, make sure everything is clean. All right, so considering I bought someone else's project, when I was wiring the starter, I had no idea which wires are which. He had all black wires for everything. So basically what I had to do is I took the whole harness, brought it out of the passenger side of the car, and then I tracked down this alternator wire because this also goes to the starter. And if you follow it, it comes out right there, and then it goes into this wire right here. So you could tell why I thought this was a ground, of course. So now this goes to the positive terminal on the starter. So now I have some thick electrical tape. I'm gonna rewrap all this up nicely and go ahead and finally wire the starter up. All right, so I have this whole harness all wrapped up, wrapped all the wires underneath the loom. Everything is all tight and good. She ain't going nowhere, I ain't kidding you. So now we gotta run this harness back through the motor, out to this side and then down there, and then we can wire up the starter. Okay, so this side of the motor harness is all set. We have the knock sensor, we have the ground there, another ground there, the mounting point for the harness there, cam sensor in. So this side is all good. We got the oil pressure sensor in back here. I had to get a new one. So basically all that's left for the engine harness is that's really it until we put the intake on. So I'm thinking get all this cleaned up, get the situation organized, and then we're gonna start putting the subframe in. Hello, can you see me? I hope so. We're gonna throw up this header just from the bottom and I'll finish it from the top. All right, so headers are in. Now it's time to put the subframe in. It's gonna be a lot of work, fellers and fellettes, okay? So let's go ahead, roll this thing under. All right, brothers, I'm skeptical, okay? It wants to lean forward. Okay. All right, as you can see why this is so hard to do, especially alone. We're looking good so far, knock on wood. How long is it gonna last? Probably not that long. So as you guys can see, this is how it basically has to go. There's a dowel pin here, the bolt there, control arms go up there, and it's the same concept on this side. Now we just gotta get those holes and all the 4 holes aligned. All right, so we got 1 bolt lined up. Gonna go ahead and put Loctite and thread that bolt on. And then ugga dugga. I have to go get some water because I was about to have a stroke. Got the passenger side, control arm assembly or suspension all mounted up. It's just 4 bolts and then 2 bolts for the shock absorber. Now we're gonna torque spec these. All right, well now that we have the car back on the ground, we can go ahead and start taking care of this engine bay a little bit more. So I got the intake, factory LS2 intake, that's gonna go right back on, okay? And this ain't, you know, rocket science. Like so. We got the injector rails with the injectors. Let's give it a nice push. Now I'm gonna slap on these coil packs. All right, so on to the next part of this project. Since we got a majority of the engine bay all finished up, we got the rad support on. I ordered that off eBay for the cheapies, you know what I mean? Next up is this radiator. This is a radiator that came with the car. I ran a hose through it, it's got no leaks, but this thing is bashed up, okay? It's seen better days. But like I said, this is a budget build. We're not going balling on a budget, aluminum red or this, that, the third. I'm gonna put this in. If it leaks, it leaks. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If it keeps it cool, it keeps it cool. If it doesn't keep it cool, oh well, we'll put a new one in. But to find out, it's cheaper, okay? So put this in. Now I know these cars do some crazy tilting, you know? This is the upper radiator support. To be honest, I don't even really know what holds this thing up. Now time for the radiator hoses, and for these, I just ordered a cheap, nice black silicone kit off eBay. This kit has all the overflow hoses, all the hoses required coolant, okay? All right, so as you can see, I got all the hoses basically hooked up. They're not all tight because this is all just a mock-up in case everything has to come back out again. By everything, I mean like the coolant hoses, the radiator, etc. Have the heater hoses ran down there. Bottom hose on, top hose on. So now we're gonna be taking off this front bumper and sending it off to paint. So now it's pretty easy. I've had this thing off a bunch of times if you watch my previous videos. So I basically just have this thing held on with a couple clips. So it'll come off in no time. Now we're just gonna plop this thing up. And there you have it. So now that the bumper's off and going out for paint, we gotta take care of this passenger fender. And remember how I mentioned budget build, budget transformation? This fender is actually more expensive to paint it than to do what I did. So what I did is scour Marketplace for months for parts for this thing, because I bought everything used except for the minor things like hardware and whatever. So I found an OEM 2006 C6 Corvette passenger fender in my red in immaculate condition. And what's good about that is I only paid $100 for it, which is real good, and it'll align better than this aftermarket one. So let's go ahead and grab that and take this one off. So here is the passenger fender I speak of. My red, great condition, good enough for me, okay, and good enough for the dog apparently. And we got the pieces back here that make it do cool things. Okay, so let's take the old one off. All right, now this fender should just come right off. Voila. And now while I have that fender off, I picked up a couple more cheap parts on the budget off Facebook Marketplace, and they're headlights. And now I know what you're thinking, Triple Rip, those headlights you got on there are basically fine. No, they're not. I basically got ripped off on these headlights because the ballast was out. First of all, I don't know anything about C6 headlights. There was just a bunch of parts missing, okay? And I didn't know till I put the headlights in. So I got something better. I picked up these fully mint condition, mint in my opinion, C6 Corvette headlights, paint match, everything, the ballast is in them, the weather strips on them, for $350. Great deal, let's go put them on. Now a quick interruption, these are the headlights I had on before. Not looking good. So I went from these to those, and now we're going to the ones I'm about to put on. Passenger headlight in, let's go to the driver's side. Driver's side headlight removed. See what I mean? There ain't nothing in there, okay? None of this is in there. I took that out, but still, none of this is supposed to be hanging out. New headlights installed. All right, so I got the new fender just sitting on here. Be patient with me because it's gonna take me quite some time to get it aligned, so I'll see you back when that's done. All right, so it is now the next day. We got this thing all up aligned. It took me quite some time to get these body panels to match up. Took a lot of persistence, but she's on there real solid. She is good. Now, while this bumper is getting painted, we are gonna move on to clean up this paint because this window was stuck down for quite some time, so I had to put bags over the window, you know what I mean? So now we're gonna clean up all this sticky residue with some goo gone, you know, make the goo go gone. We're gonna take this 5% tint off, and we're gonna see what else we could do while we're waiting on the bumper. I'm also waiting on tires. We're gonna have those mounted. I got some 305s for the rig. Let's go ahead and start cleaning this up. But before we actually start really cleaning up that residue, let's take a look at this paint. It's really hard to tell on camera, but I worked on this car, put the motor in, the subframe in, really did a lot of work to this car without putting any plastic wrapping to protect the paint. So this paint is just shot. I mean, this thing needs a good polishing job. It needs a good paint correction. You know, half this car feels like sandpaper. It's been sitting for just about 3 years now. So this paint does need a whole bunch of work, but we're gonna start with getting the residue gone and just cleaning up all the handprints that go along with it. We got Google gone, surface safe, you know, put that stuff on anything. Just gonna go ahead and take all this off, and when the time comes, not in this video, but I am gonna have the target top wrapped black. I'm gonna tint this windshield so you can't even see out of it. Everything's gonna be tinted as dark as night, okay? So this thing looks like Batman. Now it's just gonna take some time because you gotta loosen it up. It takes persistence. I've learned that everything on a Corvette takes persistence when you're working on it, because I mean, hell, you just want to give up the second you start working on it because these things are tricky. But hey, I'll tell you what, it is possible to do on a budget. You just gotta find the right deals. I'm just gonna start taking it off slowly but surely, just like that, and I'll be back with you guys in about 6 hours. All right, check it out. We got it basically all cleaned up. Like I said, this is basically just a quick over till we get this thing paint corrected by a professional, because I'm not one for paint or body work, but she looks real good. We got the sticker off. We cleaned the windshield so we could actually see in it. Now we're looking good. Next up on the chalking board are these tires, okay? They came in on the UPS rig. Actually, the guy's back door is broken, so we had to haul him out his passenger door. You know what I mean? So we're gonna go ahead and take these rear tires off. What's on there now is 295, 35, 17. These are 305, 45, 17. So we got some hog tires on here. We got Nitto T555s, something like that. I ordered off Summit. So let's go ahead, jack up that rear, take those off, and let's go to the tire shop. All right, we're taking the driver's side off now. I only got 3 lug nuts on here because that's how I bought it, okay? So I gotta buy lug nuts as well, but not today. Driver's side off. Now this car does have a Carlisle spindle kit on it, which that allows for smaller brakes, and what smaller brakes mean is smaller rims. Because with factory Corvette brakes, they're pretty huge, so they usually have 19 or 20-inch rims on it. So this has an upgraded spindle kit. That's how I bought it. Apparently this thing's worth some big bucks. With the caliper and the spindle kit, she's looking pretty good back here, fellas. So let's go ahead and get the passenger side off. And yeah, I got jack stands under this. It's not just a jack holding it, you know what I mean? Safety. Passenger side off. Same thing back here, okay? Let's load up these rigs. These are actually pretty deep wheels for a base. They might be for a wide body, I'm not exactly sure, because the front lip of the rim does stick out past the fender, like 1.5 inches or so. So we're gonna keep running them. But these are 295s. As you can see, it's a pretty significant difference. So I'm pretty excited to see what these hogs look like on this rig. And now you might ask, hey, Trippy Rippy, why are you changing out perfectly good slicks? Because these things have been sitting for about 2.5, 3 years, and these things are dry. I mean dry, okay? Drier, more drier than your grandma, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to blow these up and blow that quarter panel off. So the rims on this rig, the tires on this rig are the least of the budget. We're way far off on the budget with these tires because they were about $800 for 2 tires. So we're gonna take care of them. Now let's head to the tire shop. So now while we're waiting for these tires to get nice and mounted up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean up in here and paint it fresh black. I got some Rust-Oleum truck bed coating just to give it a nice thick coat. Not any of the mechanical components, just the wheel well. Because I don't really like the faded look, and you could definitely see it when this car's on the ground with some tires in it. So we're gonna clean it up a little bit. Now we're just gonna apply the spray paint. Whoa, really runny. Spray a little lighter. See that? All right, so we're on the passenger side now, and you can really tell how long this thing's been sitting because it is just cobwebs and all sorts of earth-like things in here, okay? And I know what you're probably thinking. Why is there no air duct over here? That's because I think they had, like an ice box in here for a blower. So they have these 5/8 or 3/4 size lines running from the trunk all the way up to the engine bay. So that's why there's no air duct, because they run right there. Okay, so let's get cleaning up. Rebuilding, cleaning, making it look nice and clean. Mint, okay, preparing, sanding. priming. All right, let's get painting. All right, now let's hit the spray. She's kind of clean. When this car is fully done, we're gonna go through it and clean it real good. Learning my lesson on the other side. This stuff's pretty drippy and runny, so you might want to stand a little far back. You know, shoot from the hip, you know? Womp womp, rebuilding. I might just bring this car to Barrett Jackson when I'm done with it. All right, now that the passenger side is dry, you can kind of see it makes a big difference in there. And it's basically just like this grainy paint truck bed liner. So all the rock chips and everything, it should hold up pretty well. Talk about Big Booty Judy. We got these fat meats back from Mavis Discount Tire. Wasn't much of a discount, you know, $80 for Mountain Balance. They're trying to bankruptcy me. But I'm gonna hope that these fit, they're not too wide, because then I'll actually have to call the bank and say, I'm sorry, I need help. So we're gonna put these on. I'm excited. It's my first set of Nittos, especially 305s, never had this wide of a tire. So let's put these pigs on this pig and hope it fits. It's heavy. Well, we're pretty close to the back wheel well, I'll tell you that. When it hits a bump, it might rub. We'll find out when she's on the ground. Three is all you need. They took my stickers off. I was really hoping I'd burn the stickers off, because that's just cooler, you know? Dang, Mavis. All right, let's get it off the jacks. All right, let's put this pig on the ground. Well, this thing is shining like a diamond in a goat's ass. I mean, in my opinion, they might be a little big, but they look pretty good. They stick out quite a ways. So we are gonna throw some rock chips, but that's what you get, you know, when you're building a rat rod Corvette. I also picked up the bumper while I was out at Mavis Bankruptcy Tires. I'm gonna go ahead and take this thing out. I had a brother paint this in his garage. So, guy was doing some side work, 420 bucks, fully sanded, primed, painted, clear coat, not bad, and it's paint matched, okay? I'm gonna be real gentle, because again, I've never had something painted, I've never had a car this clean. My truck's pretty nice, you know, but it's got its imperfections. And look at that, mint. Maybe I'll name the car McQueen. All right, now brothers and sisters, is a part that I've been waiting for a long time, is to get a painted bumper on there. Now that we got a painted fender, it's my first time seeing this car fully complete, okay? So let's put this pig on there. It's gonna take a while because we got to match everything up, you know? All right. Now, I've never worked with something freshly painted before, and now you're gonna see a significant difference from the bumper to the hood and the fender. That's because this thing's brand new painted, and all this has been sitting 3 years. I mean, this hood feels like sandpaper, so don't be judging just yet. All right, I got my womans with me to help me assist in fitting up this bumper, okay? Gotta be gentle. Her name's Alexa. I'm gonna take the hood off so we don't scratch. All right, now with the hood off, it should be easier. The hood on a C6 is just 4 bolts. But when we align that hood, it's gonna be a little tricky. All right, and on a C6, there are these 2 clips up here. They're plastic and they break quite frequently. So you gotta be gentle when you're pushing these up. And there are also these little thumb clips also that also keep it aligned. You know, on a C6, a majority of it's delicate, so you gotta be gentle. You gotta talk to it nice, you know what I mean? I'll be right back, stand by. All right, so it's about approximately 2 hours later. My girlfriend and I damn near had a stroke getting this thing together. This body line is the worst of it. I'm gonna have to do some serious adjusting to get that right, but just for now, it'll do, okay? But we got the top all lined up a little bit, gotta fix that. This side's good, and this side is fairly well. It's an aftermarket bumper, so it's gonna take a lot of shimming and time to get this thing right. But now it's gonna be time to slap this badge on. I mean, ka-chow looks pretty good, and we're waiting on a splitter as well. So let's get the nose on. Detailer. They used to call me Detail Rip. I've never actually cleaned something professionally before, okay? I don't even know if I could align this badge correctly because I'm a little cross-eyed, so this thing might look funny coming down the road. But are we gonna put it on anyway? Yeah. Should we measure? Yeah. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of blemishes in this paint. It's gonna be a 25-footer for sure, you know? I paid a guy in a garage to do it. All right, freedom of America right here, brother. We're gonna put it on sideways, basically. Ka-chow. You too could look like me. Sheesh. I mean, we had all sorts of different headlights on this thing. We had a black fender, we had a black bumper, and now look at her. We got some 305s on the rear. We're taking care of tires in the front sooner than later. And we got a nice bumper on the rig with an album. Now, my girlfriend and I are gonna put on this hood. I guess the life of this hood's in my woman's hands, so I'm just gonna watch her struggle and she's gonna put it on. Usually she'd be in the kitchen, but. All right, brothers and sisters, we got it. Alignment there, no good, okay? Alignment here. For some reason, I gotta fix these clips. They keep giving out on me. It's a big problem on C6 Corvettes, are those clips right there. But the hood gap seems to be good. We might have to slide it down more, but the height on it is good. Got the badge on. These clips are holding up just fine. All right, so next up on the chalking board, which is the part that I've been most excited for, is this splitter. And I got this splitter from Extreme Online Autosports, or Motor Parts, whatever, hoobie-dobby the name is. So I got this splitter, and we're gonna put this thing on, and we are also gonna lower it. So I'm excited. Let's get right to it. All right, well, to be honest, this got out of hand really quickly. I got the whole driver's side disassembled. That's the bolt that lowers, okay? And it was stuck. So I heated it, did a whole bunch of cycles of heating and WD-40, heat, WD-40, crack fluid, spice strips, this, that, the third. So now we got it broken free to where we can spin it with our hand. And now we're gonna bring that bushing all the way up to the spring, reassemble this, and see if it makes that big of a difference. So my girlfriend and I just bled the brakes. We took a break from lowering the front. We only lowered the driver's side, but since we got the rear tires off for the brakes, we're gonna go ahead and lower the rear. Come on, check it out. It's the same process. There's a bolt in there that you turn and it lowers it, okay? So we're gonna slam that thing up against the bushing and the spring. We're gonna throw these tires back on and see if we can get the rear fitment right. You know, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't gonna be thugging, so I wanna be rubbing, you know what I mean? So let's get to it. All right, so my girlfriend and I got this thing slammed down, okay? I got those bolts bottomed out, okay? I was reading online and everyone's like, oh, it's gonna ride bad. If I wanted a good ride, I would have bought a Cadillac, okay? This ain't no Cadillac, it's a Corvette. Now we got these bolts bottomed down. Let's go ahead and lower it. I'm not gonna slam it down in case it's too low and these quarter panels whack these tires. We'd be in bad shape and we'd really be buying a Cadillac, okay? So let's lower it down. All right, brothers, sisters. Moment of truth. We still have the passenger side, keep in mind, to lower. Did it go down at all? She's probably gotta settle. I don't know. We'll have to drive it, but it doesn't drive yet, so stand by. All right, now considering this car doesn't drive yet, I'm gonna give it the fact that it's driving. All right, brothers, we're locked in. She's pretty low. Can't fit my hand under there. It went down quite a few. When we start driving, she'll really sink down. We might have to raise her back up because she's getting close to these 305s, you know what I mean? It's not gonna tuck in there because we got some over gap, whatever. Now we're gonna jump and do the passenger side, stand by. So basically, I went to go ahead and lower this passenger side, and the bolt on how to lower it, it sits in a monoleaf. These cars have monoleafs. Basically, it's like a leaf spring going from each side of the car in the front and the rear. There's a bolt in there, and that bolt basically tells the lower A-arm where to sit. So if the bolt's all the way up, the lower A-arm is going to be more up in the suspension. That's what lowers the car. So the bolt in the monoleaf has an insert. And basically, that insert broke free. Okay, so that thing is just spinning free in there. And the monoleaf is not in the budget, and it's not in the labor department right now because it's a lot of work. I already have this car all apart. I'm not really looking to do that or order one or buy one. Like I said, not in the budget. And plus, I don't want this car too low in the front because I'm not trying to be scraping on everything in case we go off-roading, drifting in the sand or the grass, you know what I mean. So basically, I raised the driver's side up to match the passenger side, so now we're even in the front and we're not gonna lower it. But I went ahead and started disassembling the caliper and get ready for paint, so let me show what I got so far. So we have the passenger side disassembled. I have already cleaned it to bare metal. What I did is I painted the whole thing red. Well, cleaned it, primed it, painted it red. After all the red was dry, I went ahead, took a razor blade, scraped the Corvette off so it's bare metal, and then I clear coated it. So this one's drying. Then we're gonna take the driver's side off once we put this one back in assembly and make sure we like it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put this bad rig on. Oh, brake fluid's coming out everywhere. Don't tell. Sheesh. I mean, talk about a difference. That looks pretty darn good if you ask me, brother. Let's go ahead and get it all mounted up and jump to the passenger side. All right, it's not too much of a difference, but you can kind of tell compared to the driver's side of the rig. Definitely looks a little better, but let's go ahead and start disassembling. And just like that, we have some brand new wheelwood calipers ready for Barrett Jackson. All right, now on to the next painted edition of the car. We're gonna go ahead and paint this center console piece, okay? It's cracked right there, as you can tell. Let's take a better look. I don't like the red. Maybe I do. I don't know. I like the carbon fiber one that they have on the internet, but it's a bit expensive, okay? And like I said, budget, 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 budget. So we're gonna paint this black, okay? So it's a little pain in the butt to disassemble because it's a Corvette, of course. So let's go ahead, start disassembling, and let's start painting, you know what I mean? Painting's clearly my specialty over here, so let's start painting. All right, so now I'm gonna professionally uninstall this, okay? Oh, check out the FL2K glasses, by the way. It was a pretty good event. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Got shades, because they're all out of the shirts, and I like to get certain apparel from the events, you know what I mean? So, from what I saw, this is a pain to get out of here, all right? So, stand by. All right, so here we have it. It definitely took some persuasion and some convincing, because all these connectors in here for the traction control, the cigarette lighter, the hazards, and then another cigarette lighter. It was a decent amount of work, but the reason why this is broken, because when I bought it, we couldn't get it into neutral because there's no battery in it, so we had to take this whole thing apart. And the previous owner broke it and didn't give me a discount, you know what I mean? And whoever painted this in the past, I mean, must have been a Helen Keller operation. So now we're gonna go ahead, get this all out, get all in here cleaned up, and start painting. All right, now for this step of the process, when we're going into sanding, it's plastic, okay? It's a delicate material, as you guys know. So this, we got just a metal, all right, it says metal, whatever. It's just a finish pad. We're just we're looking to scuff, all right? And then we got some Ultra paint and primer, gloss, wood, metal, plastic, and more, all right? I don't know. What other material you got? Maybe like silicone or something. Okay, so let's get prepping and painting, okay? All right, it's about 3 hours later. It was a very daunting task, getting all of these components out, okay? I didn't take this out because I'm not trying to break it, and I can't exactly figure out how. And all this stuff on this Corvette is from 2006, so a lot of it's brittle, as you can tell. So basically, we're gonna go ahead and start priming, okay? So don't forget to like and subscribe as of now, thank you. All right, we have the product prepped for paint. Looks good enough for where I am going, all right? So now we're going ahead and just shoot from the hip, like so. All right, so I'll be back with you when I'm done. All right, brothers and sisters, fellas, or whoever's watching. You can't really tell on camera because the paint's kind of nice, but to the naked eye, it could use some work, you know what I mean? This paint hasn't gotten an actual good paint correction or buffing or wax or any sort of cleaning attention in about 3 years, probably longer. So I'm gonna go ahead and just scuff it up with the small buffing pad I had. Don't hate, educate, okay? I'm just doing this real quick to give us a little difference because we got a lot of scratches in here and swirls. So stand by. I'm gonna polish this up a little bit. All right, so you can kind of see the difference of where I just buffed. I buffed to the left of the cowl on the hood, and there's definitely a difference in reflection. It looks pretty good if you ask me. I'm new to buffing and cleaning and detailing in general, hence why I didn't go spending big bucks on some sort of polisher, okay? Because I don't even know if I'm good at it. So I'll probably I'll definitely utilize the rest of this pad, and then I'll see about going to Harbor Freight and getting an actual buffing wheel. Because this thing It's real hard to tell on camera, but this paint needs some serious correction. There's a bunch of these little scratches everywhere. We have just a bunch of water spots. My dog agrees. So we're gonna go ahead and finish the hood. Now I just did basically half and half to see how the paint comes out. You know, this way I know if the paint's got potential. And let me tell you, it's definitely got potential. It's looking pretty good in my opinion, all right? Now my opinion, I'm used to classic 50 footers, all right? This thing's mint compared to what I used to work with, okay? So now we know it shines up. That's gonna be good, all right? And we're gonna wash it. And basically that will be it for the paint side of things. Remember, budget. If you don't got a lot of money, you can't paint correct it, and you can't go out buying all the equipment, all right? So we're gonna wash it like the good old traditional way, like they used to do in the 50s, maybe. Now I'm waiting for that plastic piece to dry, and we're gonna go ahead and throw it on. Yes, hello Pineapple. I am back, installing the center console piece, okay? We got it all painted, we got it all buttoned up, we got the vents on, we got all the miscellaneous components that we had to take off, put back on. So now I have some dielectrical grease. I'm gonna go ahead and put them on all the connectors, okay? Because next time we take this apart, we want this to be nice and easy to disassemble, you know? Remember, foresight, you feel me? So just take care of your stuff and it will take care of you, hopefully. And if not, good luck. Or wish me luck. All right, let's go start installing. I fixed the shifter too. That's a whole other story. I don't have time for that, you know what I mean? Fellers or brothers and sisters. It's not the nicest looking actually. I don't really like it actually. All right, we'll just leave it black for now and down the road we'll change it. All right, so here's the finished product. I mean, not bad for a $10 price tag. It looks absolutely terrible on camera over here, but it's not as bad in person as it is on camera. But for $10, which is basically the can of spray paint, you can't go wrong. Because this thing brand new is about like in the couple $100, $150 range, and especially if you want a fancy one like carbon fiber, it gets quite expensive. And this is actually a paddle shifter car. This is the wrong lens. This part is very hard to find. A gentleman actually gave me this piece for free because I could not find it. And another awesome guy actually gave me this shifter for free because on the other shifter, my button broke right here and I could not find it. So I posted in the C6 forums and this guy was like, I have one for free, I'll send it to you. The guy was an absolute gentleman. So thanks to him and thanks to the guy who sent this for free. So basically this is a $10 fix. Looks good from afar, good enough for where we're going. Now we're gonna go ahead and basically just give this car a clean because this car hasn't been actually deep cleaned in quite some time. And no, I'm not gonna deep clean it. I'm basically just gonna shine it up, clean it up, vacuum it. You know what I mean? Check out the passenger side. You know, the passenger side has seen some better days. The seats are destroyed, the dash is filthy. There's even a pretty nice bug right there. The trunk is all filthy. So we're gonna give this thing a good vacuum and a good wipe down. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum this, clean the seats, clean all the nicks and crannies, and just don't look at the center console. I'm not really that proud of it. All right, so just gonna start cleaning and start vacuuming. All right, we're cleaning the interior now. For some reason, the camera was not just recording, so I got all this all clean. We're using Total Interior Cleaner Adams polishes. Stuff smells pretty good. But keep in mind, fellers and brothers and sisters, I'm not a detailer, so I'm just going through this car quick, making it look good for now, okay? And just like that, she looks good enough to get us where we are going. Now, one day we will do a fine line detail, put some floor mats in this thing, and overall, just get it real clean. But for now, this will do just fine. Now let's go ahead and post this car up on the grass and check her out. All right, brothers and sisters, we're gonna go ahead and cold start this thing. It hasn't started in a couple weeks, and yeah, it runs. I didn't tell you guys yet, I was gonna do a whole separate video, but we're gonna go ahead and pull this car over on the grass. It doesn't completely run and drive, but I could put it down the block, you know, to get where we wanna go. I'm gonna put the microphone on the tailpipe of this rig. I don't know how it's gonna work, so I apologize if it sounds like absolute garbage, but the car does sound good. I promise. I don't know, maybe we'll put it right here. just like that, we have a fully restored 2006 C6 Corvette that we did on a budget. We built this car from literally the ground up. We didn't have nothing. We didn't have a motor. We barely had any wiring harness. We didn't have any sensors. We didn't even have all the parts. I bought this thing as a roller, as you saw it in the video, for $4,500. And now here it sits with me, fully complete, running, driving, looking real good. I mean, I might just go pick up some grandmas in this hog. It might be a little tough because I can't get that low to get in it, you know what I mean? But this thing is looking real good. We did this on a budget. All in all, we're probably in this car just about at about $15,000. And that's a pretty damn good deal for what a Corvette is nowadays. You know what I mean? So if you're ever wondering if you could have fun on a budget, 15 G's is a lot of money. But when you look at the car and when you look at what you get, it's not that bad, okay? So don't be shy at money. Don't be shy at being scared of how hard it is to build a car. Just go in, do it, and learn as you go. You always have YouTube and you always have Facebook forums who will help you through the whole process. That's what's great about the car community. So if you guys want to see more on this car, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys